Hello friends, Jim Freeman once again from Silverbridge Senior Transitions. And I'm here today to talk with Terry and Melinda Anthony, two friends of mine now who I met, now it's been almost a year since we first met, and worked with them to help them move from their home into assisted living here at Coger in Tacoma. And we're going to talk a little bit about how we met, what their needs were when we met, and how we worked together to make sure everything went smoothly and that they had all the resources they needed to sell their home and use that money to pay for their long-term care. And the cat's name is?
Patty.
Patty. All right. All right. Well, welcome, Melinda.
Yes.
And Terry.
Thank you.
Good to see you. And let's talk about the scope of what we're going to cover here in these few minutes. I first met Melinda and Terry's son, TJ, Terry Jr., on the phone. He had called me several months before I heard from Melinda or Terry. But they had a nice home in the Gig Harbor area, Point Fosdick, and they were looking to move to some place that was a little easier, where they had food prepared and some care when they needed it. The problem was, as it is so often the problem, that they really needed to sell their home before they could afford that. And so I got together. We met the first time. We met at the kitchen table.
We did.
At your home. And as I recall, TJ was there, maybe Bob, and you and Terry.
Yes. My husband at that time was in an assisted living home and unable to join us, and the whole burden of selling the home relied on myself and my kids. So that's why it was so interesting to talk to Jim, because he could provide us with so many services that I had no clue about. So we met Jim and talked about the services he could provide. And the one thing I noticed that was so wonderful is that Jim, whatever he talked about, he did it in a way that was very clear, very understandable, and filled with hope.
Right. And just to put a cap on that, you're happier now.
Oh, very much.
Things are better.
Oh, very much. Terry is recovered. Kids are doing their own thing. We're doing ours now, so it's much better.
Okay. All right. So I met them. We met at the house. What we're going to talk about, the scope of things, and put some detail on it, was, and I don't want to get too deep in the weeds on this, but it's important to prepare the home enough to help qualify for the home to be purchased by owner-occupants. And what that means is that 80% of people who want to buy the home to do that need to borrow money. So the home itself has to qualify for various loan programs like FHA, VA, conventional, and so on. And that requires an inspection. You had an inspection?
Yes, absolutely. That was probably one of the best things that we did. And because Terry was in having care given, we really couldn't afford a lot. So it was so helpful to hear that Jim's services included money we could borrow and then afford having that inspection, going over the list of things that we should have done before we put it on the market. And that was just such a relief, is all I can say, that I had a way of affording this.
Of paying for it. And we call those senior transition loans. And the transition loans can be used for anything that's needed. So we were able to help them pay for inspections, for the moving costs, for some repairs on the house, and some other things. But we had another problem. The question was, where are they going to go? So I introduced them to Denise Callahan from Oasis Senior Advisors, and You folks had looked at quite a few places before, before deciding on where you are
Yes,
now.
We did.
And, you know, they all had pluses and minuses, but this one turned out to be the better one. But how important was it to have somebody that knew the business, who was able to help you sort out the differences between what you looked at?
Oh, it was amazing, because we had looked at just about everything in Gig Harbor that was available, and we were so discouraged because at that time they were all full. There was just no place to go. And so when I talked to Denise, and she said, I think I have just the perfect place for you, and she brought us here, it just filled every wish I had on my bucket list.
Okay.
Every wish, including preparing food.
Yeah, especially.
I didn't want to do that anymore.
Well, and another thing about this place that you told me, Melinda, is that you like the activities here.
Oh, there are so many activities, and it's hard to find a place that has this many. But that's what keeps me going as a person, and Terry can enjoy what he wants to do, and we're both well satisfied.
Both happy. All right, so we were able to, we connected you with an expert who was able to sort out your options, look at your budget,
Right.
look at the contract requirements that the various communities were offering, compare and contrast. And by the way, no answer is perfect, but there's a better answer and a worse answer. So having somebody to talk to about it, somebody that
Yes.
took you around.
And that's one thing I will say, Jim was always available. If I had a question, I didn't understand something, all I had to do was phone him, he'd call back that very same day, and always had the answer for me, or if he didn't, he would get back with me, and he did. And that was very helpful because I was such a novice at this whole process. But I really, really want to say how important it was in my mind to have the inspection first, to take care of all the little things that needed to make our house sellable. And then we didn't have to worry about it when the people came to look at it.
Well, and so we got an inspection, and inspections, they're not designers, they're not, they're just looking at does everything work? What needs to be fixed? Are there any concerns structurally? Blah, blah, blah. And it's important to know that the real question that any home seller needs to answer is not how to sell it for the highest price you can get. It's how much money you're going to put in your pocket at closing. That's what we want to maximize. So there are certain things you can spend money on, all kinds of things. We could have gotten a new roof, we could have replaced windows, we could have painted the whole place, replaced door, we could have done all that. But I gave you a report that was called the cost versus value report, which gave us a guideline about which things were necessary and which we could recover some or most or all of our investment that we made in it.
Right.
A lot of things you just don't. So why?
Exactly.
Yeah. So you don't want to do those. You want to do the things that are important. So we prioritized the things that needed fixing. We had a scope of work,
Yes.
which included everything, including moving, cleaning, cleaning the roof off, getting the furnace inspected and fixed. All these.
I didn't have to call those people
Yeah.
for service because he knew a handyman and his assistant who could do a lot of the work. But some I had to call, I will admit, but
Yeah.
we found out that your handyman was very capable of doing a lot of those things.
Right.
And had a nice background, so it was very easy to have it done.
Right. So we had a home inspection. We did the work that, in our opinion, our collective opinion, was the minimum necessary. We had some debate about that, but we eventually arrived at a price, and we felt at the time that we went out to market that things were sufficiently done with the house to have it qualify for various financing programs. So we went to market, and as I recall, that was in the fall of 2025, and beginning to creep into that part of the year where things kind of slow down. Well, we did okay in the first couple of weeks. What happened in the first couple of weeks?
Oh, the first couple of weeks, we just bombarded Facebook, we bombarded places that you knew about, and Jim had taken the pictures for us, so those were online. It was excellent. We had a lot of people come and look at it, more than would have come if it had just been up to me or a realtor that was just local to our area. Jim does quite a few areas, so he had more experience with that.
Well, the good news was people showed up, and that's the job of marketing. And as I recall, there were about maybe a dozen showings in 2 weeks. However, there was a problem.
We had a house right around the corner that was also going to market, and they were using staging, they had landscape, they had new landscape put in, and it was a real competition with them to some extent. They were asking a lot more, but that was hard.
Well, the problem after a dozen or so showings in the first 2 weeks was we had no offers.
Correct.
Nobody made an
Not
offer.
a one.
Yeah.
But we have to say a lot of that probably was the time of the year too.
Part of it was time of the
And
year.
the economy, we've had some problems with that.
Right.
So it was really a hard time to find any buyers, and Gig Harbor was not selling like they had been. So we made it though.
Well, so these were real issues that we faced together, and we did a lot of things to highlight the benefits of the home. We discussed the price at various times going through. But during this period also, we were in Western Washington State, there were a lot of headwinds in the local economy. People were losing jobs. There was pessimism about the future of our companies here due to AI, due to high taxation, lots of reasons. And so kind of the wind was taken out of the sails of the buyer side of the market. But we went through, we discussed it, we made some adjustments. We did things, but there was a dead spot right after the first 2 weeks where even people weren't even showing up. So
Can I interrupt just
Yes,
for
yes.
a minute? When we discussed lowering the price or other things that we should do, Jim always included the kids in my family. Again, we couldn't really talk with Terry about it, but the kids provided, they're grown up by now, provided the necessary minting, backbone, whatever.
Yeah.
We just needed to have more than my voice.
Right. And I was able to provide to Terry, Melinda, and their children, their adult children, data. All the decisions that I make, all the recommendations I make are based upon what I'm seeing that's happening currently in the marketplace. And to the extent that, I have a crystal ball, which I don't, trying to project forward on, what things might look like. But things weren't going our way, but we came up with a different idea, didn't we?
What was that?
Well, the different idea was, we had an offer, we had a nice location, the house had been cleaned up, things looked good. People, were seeing it online, and in the first 2 weeks, people were coming to look at it. But we had to improve our offer.
True.
So we had a choice. We could drop the price, until people started noticing, or what else could we have done?
Oh, was it that, when we talked to the gal about, I can't hardly remember.
Well, we talked to Shereen Nurmi from American Pacific Mortgage.
That's what it was, yes.
Right, and I notice, because I do this a lot, that in the marketplace in Gig Harbor and Kitsap County and Pierce County in general, homes were selling. Fewer of them sell in the fourth quarter. But the people that had market share happened to be home builders, people that were building new homes. They were selling more at a faster rate. And one thing that home builders do a lot is that they will offer at the end of every fiscal quarter to move their inventory, they will offer special financing offers. And in the marketplace where we happened to be with the location of the home and the timing, these builders were offering their brand new homes. Melinda and Terry's home was 50 years old. but brand new homes with financing available for 30-year fixed rate loans below 5%, 4.99%. The going rate at the time was about 6 3/8, something like that. And had we been able to offer that, we would have gotten more action, more traction. And so Sheree and Irby helped us understand that as the sellers,
Yes.
Melinda and Terry could purchase what's called a rate lock, which is really an option to place a loan at a certain rate. It costs about $1,000 to do this, and it enabled us to offer to buyers who might be interested in Terry and Melinda's home, we could offer them a 30-year fixed rate loan at 4.75% for 30 years. And over that 30-year period, this would save the buyer close to $200,000, based on an FHA loan and the price of the home. Now, one thing that I want people to know about that is you were never obligated to accept that offer.
True.
You had a choice.
Yes.
All it did was build more capacity for you to have more tools to work with for buyers. And what happened?
Well, at that point, we really were not getting buyers. We needed something to attract them. And we signed up for it. It was a great deal. But it turned out, didn't it, that we had some people came and gave us a good offer and did not accept that.
Well, two things happened.
What?
More people showed up.
Oh, well, yes.
Yeah,
true.
they hadn't been, coming for weeks, and all of a sudden they showed up. Because why? Because I changed the marketing remarks and said we could offer below market rate financing, and we got one offer from a party that was acceptable. We entered into it. They went through an inspection process and came back and turned out that they wanted to lower the price some more. So we said, no thank you. And we had confidence that we could say no thank you because we had all these other people who were continuing to look at the property and who were interested in the property. Not only the property itself, which was great, but also the loan that Melinda and Terry could offer. And we eventually got another offer, didn't we?
We did. Yes, somebody came along and offered to buy it, as was. At full price.
Waived their inspection.
And yes, and it was wonderful. It went so smoothly, and it was just great.
And an important point about this is that buyer, for a reason which I'll explain, was not interested in the 4.75% financing. He had his own financing, which was even higher, but it had a feature that he really wanted, which it offered payment protection should he be laid off. That particular lender.
Yes.
And he had a large down payment, so the difference in rate was not as important to him. That was more important. But we went under contract. He waived everything. I think 3 weeks later, we were at the closing table.
Yes.
You and Terry and I met in Gig Harbor at the escrow office. You signed the documents. You got your money. You paid the transition loan back, and you were happy.
We were so happy. And one thing about the signing was that they had given us a copy of the format by the day prior, so we had a chance to look it over beforehand. So when we went in to sign, we could just go ahead and sign. We knew everything we wanted to know.
Right. And they were very gracious and nice and
Yes.
Explained everything.
We didn't talk about when all the services that your company offered
Mm-hmm.
too, and when it was time to actually sell and get rid of things that were in the house, Jim's helped us with getting in touch with people that would come out and help us sell things on Facebook, on Marketplace. And then we had the moving truck come that he was also helpful with. And it was so smooth. I could never have done it if everything had been left up to me at this point, because I've never done it before. It had Terry to help me with all those processes. So kids and I did it, and we're very, very proud that we did do it.
Well, and I want to give a special acknowledgement to Bob and TJ and Christy.
Right.
who were instrumental also. And what was really good about having your adult children involved was everybody's working together.
Yes.
And people have differences of opinion, but the thing that was important was that they were all looking out for the best interests of their mom and dad, and that's what I did too. So I think if you're watching this, you're interested in what I can do, but also in the experience that Melinda and Terry had. You should just ask a few questions. It all starts with a conversation, no charge, no obligation. But I really want to know what's going on in your life, what do you need, how are you feeling about it, and what can I do to help you with all the various network partners that I have. I think I counted it up, and in all the people involved in the process of helping Terry and Melinda get to a better place in life, there are about a little over 40 people.
Yes.
40 people. And they all made a contribution. They all could have put a stop on things, if they didn't perform their job, but everybody performed their job.
And can I also say that the bridge loan that they offered us to use in the meantime, we didn't need a lot of it, and we always felt, though, we could ask for more. There was never any hesitancy about, do you need more? We'll provide more for you. We didn't, but it was always available if we did.
Right. All right, so summing it up, Terry, what would you say about the experience, and would you recommend?
Well, it's a good experience, and I recommend what you do.
Cool.
I do too.
All right.
And I know my kids do too.
All right.
It was great.
It's good to get together with you again. I hope this won't be the last time, but we'll check in maybe from time to time, see how you're doing. But friends, if you want to learn more, there's going to be a link in the area below this video. Just give me a call, or you can just call me directly at 360-865-0507, and I'll be happy to talk to you. Thanks again.